In the world of streaming giants like Netflix and Amazon Prime, it's difficult for another platform to really make a name for itself. But it looks like Apple TV is taking one giant leap in the right direction by bringing viewers one of the most influential science fiction stories of all time in the form of Foundation. What do we really know about this anticipated television show though? And when can we expect it to release on our screens back home? Well, whether you're an Isaac Asimov fan or just want to know as much as possible about the show before signing up for Apple TV, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore everything there is to know about Foundation. So strap yourselves in and prepare for liftoff, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos that we post. The release date. Before you get too excited about everything, we have to remind you that things have been a bit difficult in the filming industry ever since the global health situation came along. At first, a great number of sets were stopped dead in their tracks as a result of a nationwide lockdown intent on curbing the global health situation. And when these sets were finally opened up once more, there were a number of safety precautions that had to be introduced, such as the halting of any and all activities if a cast or crew member had tested positive. While these regulations were clearly for the greater good, there's no doubt that they have been responsible for many delays over the last month. In fact, delays have been so prevalent that other streaming platforms have stopped themselves from announcing release dates in advance. Fans are still waiting for more information of Season 4 of Stranger Things and Season 2 of The Witcher, for example. In other words, there's a reason why Apple TV hasn't mentioned when specifically fans of the franchise will be able to marvel at Foundation. The only information we have at this point is that Foundation will premiere on the streaming platform sometime in 2021. What does give us hope is the fact that a trailer has been already released and was showcased in June of last year at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. Considering the amount of polish that has come with the trailer, we expect to see Foundation relatively soon this year, and most likely before the start of the third quarter. That being said, we should still be prepared for a long wait, as there's always a chance that things get delayed once more. There's a reason why the specific date of release hasn't been announced just yet after all. The plot of Foundation. Oh boy, here we go. For those of you who don't know, Foundation is considered by many to be the greatest science fiction story ever told. The series of books written by Isaac Asimov even earned the Hugo Award for Best All-Time Series in 1966, beating out the likes of Edgar Rice's Burroughs Barsroom and J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Fans of the franchise have been calling for a television show to be created with the effect of bringing this incredible tale to life, and it looks like Apple TV have finally obtained the rights to do so. Lovers of science fiction have a pretty great year in store, especially if they've never heard of Foundation. The story of the show will be following the efforts of a scientist named Harry Seldon, who is set to be portrayed by the incredible Jared Harris. The special thing about Seldon is that as a brilliant scientist, he has created something called psychohistory, which is a type of math that can be used to predict the future. With the Galactic Empire looking as if it's about to fall like Rome on a bad day, Seldon decides to start an organization that he called the Foundation, which is clearly where the show has taken its name from. The Foundation is essentially a colony of exceptional human beings who have come together to preserve all of human knowledge, so that when humanity restarts, it doesn't have to start over from scratch. Since Foundation feels more like a collection of interconnected short stories, along with its sequel and prequels that spans thousands of years in context, we have no idea what the showrunners of the series will be pulling from. But since Harris has been cast as Harry Seldon and Lou Lobel has been featured quite prominently in the show casting trailer as Gal Dornick, it looks as if we'll be starting at the very beginning with the creation of the actual Foundation. At least that's what we expect the ending of the first season of the show to aim towards. As we said earlier, Seldon is an incredible scientist who has predicted the future with his new technological language, if you can even call it that. What he has predicted, however, is the fall of the Galactic Empire, which is not a thought that the Empire likes. In an effort to stop people from believing in Seldon and what he can do, the Empire aims at arresting and eventually killing the brilliant scientist and his fellow conspirators. So if you're expecting a boring story about the red tape of setting up an organization in the future, think again. This is rather looking to be an action-packed franchise with impressive visuals in line with the likes of Interstellar. The creation of the Foundation is something that takes place while Seldon and friends are on the run after all, so we can expect a bit of space drama where the members of the Foundation are painted similar to the rebels in Star Wars, while the Galactic Empire are similar to, well, the Galactic Empire. Did we mention that Star Wars actually drew lots of ideas from this great selection of Isaac Asimov novels? And that's just the beginning. Foundation as a series spreads over 1,000 years, giving it a lot of space and time to grow over the years. The whole point of the story story is to show just how little humanity actually changes over the century when it comes to ideas about politics, war, and peace in general. So when it really comes down to continuation of the franchise, we can probably expect a new selection of cast members to appear along the line depending on how far the showrunner intends on stretching the story. There are so many things the series can dive into, with a great number of seasons being on the cards if the intention is to tackle everything at all. References to Foundation. To clearly see how much hype there is for this television series, you should know that popular names have mentioned the story as one of their favorites. This includes psychologist Martin Seligman, economist and Nobel Prize winner Paul Krugman, the brilliant but late Carl Sagan, and of course, Tesla CEO and real-world Iron Man Elon Musk. The books have also had a major influence on modern science fiction, as we have already mentioned. Funnily enough, the story has been mentioned by name in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, as written by Douglas Adams, an episode of the television show Futurama, and was even dropped in an issue number 542 of Marvel's Fantastic Four. Foundation is legendary, so you should probably start getting hyped already. The production of Foundation. It's not just a story that has fans hyped though, but who has been placed in the position to produce it. Taking on the reins as the showrunner is none other than David Goyer, whose television credits includes ABC's 2009 series FlashForward, NBC's 2014 procedural horror Constantine, and the 2018 Superman prequel show Krypton. It is especially in the last series produced by him that we see some similarities with Foundation, as DC fans are well aware. Krypton is, after all about the civilization of Superman's planet trying their best to delay the inevitable doom of their home, which hints at what we can expect in Foundation. Goyer was also the screenwriter responsible for Blade 2, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Terminator Dark Fate, and Masters of the Universe. He will be joined by Josh Friedman, who many remember as the writer for Steven Spielberg's adaptation of War of the Worlds. When it comes to production companies and budgets, the series will be produced by Skydance Media, which is the production company founded by David Ellison. Skydance is responsible for some of the biggest science fiction names in recent history, bringing us titles like Star Trek Into the Darkness, World War Z, Annihilation, and every Mission Impossible installment since Ghost Protocol. As you can see, Foundation has surrounded itself with some talented people who are sure to bring its story to life and give justice to the source material from which the story stems. At least that's what we hope right now. The release schedule of Foundation. For those of you wondering where you'll be able to watch Foundation after it releases, the only lawful way to do so would be to subscribe to Apple TV. So if you haven't done so yet, do some research and think about signing up just before the release of the show. You can always cancel shortly after it finishes after all. Although Apple TV is not as widespread as other streaming giants like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and recently Disney Plus, there are some great shows the platform has exclusive rights to. So before canceling, be sure to also check out The Morning Show, Mythic Quest, and Truth Be Told. If you're not yet a member of the streaming platform, you'll also want to know what its usual release schedule is like, as Foundation will most likely follow in the footsteps of shows that came before it. Unlike the majority of Netflix releases, Apple TV prefers to release its shows in the old-timely fashion of one episode per week, so you can forget about binging the series from day one. This is probably best though, as the story is likely to be complex. This means that fans will have a full week to reflect on an episode before being faced with another. The cast of Foundation. As we said earlier, Jared Harris was the first member of the cast to be brought into Foundation and will be portraying the likes of Harry Seldon. From the trailer, it looks as if season 1 of the series will be seen from Harry's own perspective, making him the lead storyteller. This is great news considering how brilliant Jared Harris is, especially when it comes to roles that require him to sound intelligent and a little arrogant. He'll be joined by Lula Bell, who will be bringing the role of Gal to life. Other names of importance include Laura Byrne as Demerzel, Leah Harvey as Salvor, Terrence Mann as Brother Dusk, and Lee Pace as Brother Day. What do you think of Foundation? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.